Let me show you how to export a high quality GIF from Adobe Photoshop and place it in an InDesign project. Follow along closely in this tutorial and learn how to use Photoshop to remove a background from a rotating planet video and convert it to a high quality animated GIF that can be placed in an InDesign project. We'll also go over how to add a grow animation to an image of the starry night galaxy. So let's jump right into this video and get started. Before we get started, the video used in this tutorial is from Adobe Stock's free collection. Visit stock.adobe.com and click on the free button in the main menu. Click on free videos and search for Ceres Planet to download the asset. It's also available in the lesson files linked in the description below. Alright, I'm in Photoshop now and the first step is opening that video. So I'm going to click on Open. Select the video, here it is, Ceres_planet.mov, and then click Open. That opens the video in Photoshop. You'll notice that the timeline panel also opens when the video is launched. If you're not seeing the timeline panel, you can always go up to Window and then choose Timeline, but that should open when you open the video in Photoshop. I can also scrub through the timeline with the playhead, and you'll notice that the 3D rendering of the planet is rotating. You can also press play in the timeline and you can see that the video is working just fine. But the concept here is I want to remove the background, the black solid background, and export it as a high quality GIF with the transparency. So we'll need to make a selection of the planet. Now there are various ways of doing this. The simplest way is using the contextual taskbar and the select subject button. Here's the contextual taskbar. I have it open here. Again, if you're not seeing this, go up to Window and Contextual Taskbar. And you'll notice that there's a button here, Select Subject. Go ahead and click that, and you'll notice that Photoshop detects the edges and the selection's been made. And then it's as easy as clicking this icon here to create a layer mask. Click that, and that removes the background. If I go over to my Layers panel, you'll notice that the video is now grouped with the layer mask. I'd like to add a hue and saturation adjustment layer to this to desaturate the color so that it contrasts better when we place it in the InDesign layout against the starry night image. I'm going to make my way to the bottom of the layers panel and click the adjustment layer icon and choose hue and saturation. That clips the adjustment layer to the layer below. You can see that with this little arrow. And I'm just going to move the saturation slider to about -48. To export this as a high quality GIF, let's make our way up to File, and then choose Export, and then Save for Web Legacy. From the preset selection, choose GIF 128 dithered. It's going to default at optimized, which will make the file smaller. If that's what you're going for, great, choose optimized. For this case, I'm going to choose original, and that will keep the high quality pixels from the video. Down below, we can choose our size. I'm just going to make the width of this 1920. Ensure that looping options is set to forever. And one last thing, because we want to maintain the transparency, ensure that transparency is selected here. Finally, click Save. Save the file to the folder you'd like. I'm going to call this Ceres Planet 2 and click Save. Next, let's jump over to InDesign and place that GIF into a layout. Let's begin by opening the InDesign document that's included with the lesson files in this tutorial. I'm going to click Open, and here it is, Ceres-Begin. We want to click the Begin version, so click that and then Open. And you'll notice there's some space on the left side of this presentation slide for Ceres Overview that we're going to add the planet, the 3D rendering GIF that we just exported from Photoshop, as well as an image behind of a starry night galaxy. We'll add a grow animation to that as well. So first, let's place the GIF. Go up to File, Place, choose the GIF that we just exported from Photoshop. There it is, planet-2.gif, and click Open. Here it is in my loaded cursor. There's two ways of placing this in the layout. I can click, drag the size I want, or simply just click anywhere on the white space on a page and that will drop it right in. From here, I can scale it down. You can see it's a little too big, so I'm going to hold Shift Command, grab the corner and drag inwards. Place it around the area that you want. You can also adjust the frame here. So I'm going to bring both of those in. I'm going to click on the content grabber, and I'm going to set the width of this to 1095. Just ensure that this link here is on to constrain the proportions for width and height. So I like the size of that, and I'm just going to place it somewhere between the margin here and this guide that I placed as a guide for the image that we're going to place next. Before I place that image, we can test out this GIF by clicking any of the interactive panels. In this case, I'll click the animation panel and then click Preview Spread EPUB. That will launch the window to preview the GIF, and you can see that that is working just fine. And again, because we set this to loop forever, it'll do just that when you place it in your InDesign document as well. So that already looks pretty good. I'm going to close this, and we can bring in that image next. Click anywhere on the white space on the page to deselect the GIF, and let's go to File and Place once again. Go into the Links folder and then choose spacesky.jpg. Click Open. Here's the background to our GIF. You can see it's in my loaded cursor once again. This time I'm going to start in the upper left-hand corner, click drag, hold Shift to give yourself some more control in terms of how you want the size of the frame to be. Go right to the bottom right edge and release. Click on the donut or content grabber, and in your control panel, let's rotate 90 degrees clockwise. And then in your fitting options, also in the control panel, let's fill frame proportionally. Now again, I want this to go behind, so click on the frame, not the content, right click, arrange, send to back. Alternatively, you could do Shift Option Command and left square bracket to send to back. This is also a good opportunity to center the 3D rendering of the planet to the background. So find where it actually centers like that and then release. Now let's add a grow animation to the background to give an awesome illusion that the stars are moving. This is cool. I'm going to click on the background, and in the animation panel, choose a preset of grow. The duration here will be 15 seconds. We want this to play out slow. Also, let's click loop so it also loops with the GIF, and let's set the scale width and height to 110%. We'll need to create a container for the animation so the animation doesn't exceed the bounding box. For this, make sure that you have the frame still selected, press Command X, that would be Control X on Windows. Then in your tool panel, let's click on the rectangle frame tool and draw out a frame which will become the container the same size as the image. Then you can right click the frame or the container and choose Paste Into. You'll have to send this to the back once again, so click on the selection tool, then the frame, right click, arrange, send to back. Now that animation is contained inside of this container. Just keep in mind that if you have to make any adjustments to the animation, you'll have to double click, cut it, and then paste it in place, Shift Option Command V. Then you'll be able to make any adjustments for the animation, and then you'll have to paste it back into that container. Let's publish this online now and see how it looks in a web browser. To do that, go up to File and Publish Online. In the Publish Your Document Online window, choose Publish New Document. Give your project a title. By default, it'll be called the same name as your InDesign document. You can see I've already changed mine to Ceres Presentation Slide. You can give your project a description. Choose whether you're exporting all pages or a range of. We only have one, so choose all. You could choose single or spread as an export as. You can allow viewers to download the document as a PDF, note, print. So the GIF nor the animation will work for interactive PDF. I just want to be clear with that. Let's click the Advanced tab. This is where you can add a thumbnail. By default, it'll always choose the first page in the document. Again, there's only one page, so we'll stick with that. But these settings are important, the image settings. The format I always leave at automatic. Resolution, 96 ppi is fine. If you want a higher quality image, you could choose 144. The JPEG image quality set to maximum, and the GIF options palette, choose web, since we are publishing this to the web. Once you have those settings in place, click publish, and let's take a look in our web browser. Here's the project launched in my web browser. You can click on the full screen view to go into full screen mode, and you'll notice that the 3D rendering GIF is rotating. And have a look in the back, the grow animation at 15 seconds is also applied. Really cool technique, and it can really enhance your digital publishing projects in Adobe InDesign. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video on how to add high quality GIFs from Photoshop to InDesign. If you'd like to learn more about interactive design and digital publishing using Adobe InDesign, check out the playlist above. Until next time, take care and keep creating.